Welcome back to the JDW Sports Talk Show. In today's episode, I'm going to be doing an NFL tiers makers list pre-draft. There's going to be another video after the draft doing this again, and then I also want to say Coach Shock inspired me to do this. So the link to his channel will be down in the description. So let's just get right into it. So the Bears, I'm going to give the Bears a solid C. They have a really good defense, but their offense is not really there. I can't put them much higher than that because of the offense isn't really there. Receivers are a question outside of Allen Robinson. They actually do have a decent tight end in Komet and Graham. Offensive line could use some work. Quarterback Andy Dalton isn't really that guy that's going to get you to the playoffs. So I'll put them in C because their defense and offense really is not all that good, though. There you go. The Browns, I'm going to give the Browns an easy day, an easy A, lethal offense, and the defense is up and coming. The defense is solid. Colts are going to be in the A as well. Very solid team, very solid roster they put together. You got the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to put an F. I just can't put the Eagles higher than this. The Eagles really don't have much. They have a young up and coming QB. Other than that, I don't think they really have too much. Um, Raiders are going to go in D. I'm not too crazy about the Raiders. I love the quarterback and I really like the tight end. Outside of that, there's not much to be excited about. Buffalo Bills. Mm, I can't put the Bills in S until they get a really solid running game. I feel like that's what's gonna hold them back in the playoffs if they don't get a running back or something. So I'm gonna put them in A. I think they can improve on edge rush too a little bit. So I think the Bills definitely have a few needs. Panthers, I'm gonna put at D. You know, they definitely have holes on both sides. Offensive line could get better. Defense could get better. Is Sam Darnold the guy? I don't know. I don't think so. But only time will tell. All you can do is build around him and see what he has. And then you had the Vikings. The Vikings, I was tempted to put the Vikings up at D. I still might because they have a decent quarterback. They have a good running back. They have good receivers. Their offense line were really good run blockers. So you know what? I'm gonna give the Vikings the benefit of the doubt, put them up in D. Texans and F don't really have much. If Watson plays, maybe they go up to D. Outside of that, Texans no. Lions don't really have much as neither. They're kind of in the same boat. Tennessee Titans I could put in C because I would put them higher, but their team isn't complete. They definitely have some holes. Um, the defense can stop a nosebleed. I mean, they did sign a few guys and Denico Autry, but Dupree. They did sign a few guys. They have Jam Brown back, but at corner they are really thin at corner. So they did get Janoris, but yeah, he's not what you want for your number one. You still need some. You still need some corners. The Saints are going to go at D. I'm not crazy about their team right now. The defense is not looking good, and the QB situation is a little weird. Don't know which one's going to step up. You got one receiver, a really good running back, and a really good offensive line, so that can really help. So I can really help whoever the QB is, but I don't think they're going to do too much. Green Bay Packers, S. I think they belong in S, one of the better teams in the NFL. Chiefs goes without saying. Broncos, um, I'm gonna put the Broncos in C because they have a solid defense. They have some good corners, very solid base, decent pass rush, and their offense definitely has some weapons, but the weapons have a lot of learning to do. They're young. This team is really young. That's my biggest issue with it. But if this team continues to develop, they can be a really solid team. And then you have the Los Angeles Rams. I'm gonna put the Rams in A. I just want to see how this team's gonna play. This offensive line is not all that. You know, so is Matthew Stafford really gonna have a run game? He probably will because Cam Akers and CJ Henderson, both solid backs, they can both work. I just don't know about putting them in S yet. I want to see how the team plays first because you always see a team build up and then it looks good on paper. They look great on paper, but they don't pan out. I want to see that first before I really put them up there. Because their defense is really solid. They have good weapons. They do need to work on that offensive line a bit though. as well. Falcons, I'm gonna put an F. You know, actually, I could probably put them in D, maybe, because they have a decent quarterback yet. Really good weapons, but on defense they have Deion Jones, Grady Jarrett, AJ Terrell, who could really pick it up. I think they belong in D. I think right now they're better than the Eagles, Texans, and Lions, but not the Falcons. Steelers, I could put in C. I think their defense drives them. I think their defense is carrying that team like it did last year. The offense was really good. It came out firing, but then it really slowed down, and Big Ben was part of the issue. It was offensive line. The running back didn't help them, but no, just no. The Cardinals I'm going to put in B. They have a really good quarterback. They have some solid weapons. They just need to get their running back and offensive line figured out. Maybe they can use another linebacker, because they got that Simmons. They do need they can use a corner. If they get a corner, maybe a linebacker, maybe a safety, they're set. They're set. They're gonna move up to A, but right now they definitely still have some holes. Um, Chargers. Chargers belong in C, so with the Bengals. I think I'm gonna keep the Bengals and the Chargers together because they're very similar. They're very similar. Both defenses are not great, and neither offensive line is great. But they both have really good running backs, really good young quarterbacks, decent wide receiver core. I think the Bengals tight end room is a little better, but we'll have to see. And then Washington football team, we're gonna put a B solely for their defense. But don't get me wrong, they still have a lot of weapons on that. They still have a lot of playmakers on offense. They have Gibson, Scary Terry, Sam Kimms. Definitely have some players that can ball out. It's just quarterback that's a bit of the question right now. If they had a quarterback, man, ooh, wow. They could also use maybe a linebacker, coverage linebacker. But man, if they had a quarterback, ooh, Redskins would be, ooh, man, I wouldn't want to play that team. But not the Redskins, the football team. But yeah, the Jaguars, I think they belong in D, solid team. Not solid, below average. That's what D is. But I mean, they have some young players in defense, and they have some weapons on offense. I can't really move them up anymore until the draft happens. Seahawks, I'm gonna put the Seahawks pretty low. I think the Seahawks belong in the C tier. I'm not. I have to put them in B because of Russ. I may have to put them. No, no, I can't. I can't put them in B. I can't. Man, the offensive line is a wreck. The whole defense is a wreck. Maybe outside of two or three players. They have two good wide receivers. Tight ends are average. This team is really not the solid team they were a few years ago. They're not that team anymore. They really need to build something around Russ. They have some work to do. The Buccaneers, I'm gonna put up an S. Super Bowl champs. The Ravens, should I put up at B or A? I'm gonna put them at A because of Lamar's threat. Lamar is a big threat, and Lamar is scary, man. You really gotta watch out for him. He's let me rephrase that a little bit. People are gonna come at me for saying that, but man, Lamar is an awesome runner. And me as a Colts fan, when we played them, I was stressed out the whole freaking time. Whole freaking time. No matter what, that's a team. It's so stressful to play against. And, for a good reason, their offensive line is solid. Lamar is scary to play against. Their receivers could get better, but their tight ends are solid. You know, their defense is really good. They have a championship formula over there. Lamar just does have to get better throwing, though. He does have to get better doing that. And then you go San Fran. I'm gonna go C for San Fran. I would have put them lower, but they have a decent offensive line, really good running backs. Quarterback is not the greatest. Receivers are not the greatest. But the defense is okay. It's solid. It's gonna take a step back, but I think they're at least or at most a C. The Giants, I'm gonna have to put the Giants at B. They're kind of in the same boat as the Redskins, except what? They're kind of really similar to the Redskins. They have that defense. The defense is solid. It could use an edge rusher, so maybe not as good as Redskins defense. Redskins definitely have a better defense, but I think the Giants offense is a little better. I think Daniel Jones is younger, so he has more potential than Fitz. Um, Daniel Jones could be decent. Giants are going to be really good, man. Kenny Galladay, Darius Slayton, Evan Ingram, Saquon Barkley. The offensive line is coming together. The defense is pretty good. Don't forget Daniel Jones could run too. Um, don't count out the Giants, man. Watch out for the Giants. For the Cowboys, I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to put them in C because of how bad their defense is. I don't know. I'm no C. They belong in C right now because the offense is amazing. If they didn't have no offense, they'd be in D or F. Right now they're C. You know, Offense is lethal. Dak, Zeke, receivers, offensive line is decent, tight ends are decent. Um, very solid team, but they can still surely get better on maybe offensive line depth and then the defense. We only time will tell, but I think they belong at C right now. Then you go to the New York Jets. I'm going to bring them to D. They had a few signings that are going to make them better, and they did win a few games last season. They weren't the worst, so they did sign a few players. I think they're going to be okay. We're still going to see how the draft is going to go, so we'll have to see about that. So right now, they definitely use some work. The Dolphins, I think the Dolphins are a harder team. I think do they belong with the Giants, Redskins, and Cardinals? I think so. I think they're a similar team for B because, they have a solid roster, but they have a few needs sprinkled in here and there, and they also have a quarterback problem. Is it a problem? Do they stay patient? Is Tua the guy? We don't know, but we will have to see. Only time will tell. But I'm only ranking. If Tua plays decent, and he's a good QB at defense. Man, the Dolphins are going to be really underrated. They're going to be a dark horse next year. And then you have the New England Patriots. Should I put them at B or C? They have Cam. They have a really good. Right now I can put them at C. You know, Dolphins are going to go at C too. I'm going to move them down. I think both these teams have some small holes, but they're holes. Patriots have quarterback. Both have quarterback issues right now. We'll see how Tua goes, and then, we'll have to see how Cam goes. So yeah, and the Patriots did have a lot of signings to make Cam's job a lot easier with tight ends. They did sign Dallas Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, so definitely have some weapons and one of the better offensive lines in the league. So you know what? Wait, no. They stay at C. They stay at C. I'm gonna put the Dolphins back. Dolphins belong to be at B. But if I put the Dolphins up there, the Patriots belong up there. Okay. Okay. That's my final. Green Bay, KC, Tampa, best teams. Then you have, you know, what do you guys think of this list? This is my tier rankings list. More coming out. Appreciate you guys for watching. If you made to the end, thank you so much. And I'll catch you next time.